So I'm right here. I'm freezing. I'm being attacked by people that are sexually trafficking. They said this is the new trend. A white guy like 2 years ago, he came here to New York. His company brought him here for training or something, and they said a black male followed him and lured him with sex and drugs. And the drug was laced with fentanyl, and the white guy died after taking the drugs. And the black man went into his bank account and took the money out and left him for dead. And his body was the corpse of the white man was stinking until they broke into the room and brought out his body. And the Manhattan prosecutor was able to prosecute that case. Uh, I'm sorry. I believe the case happened in Manhattan. So I'm being targeted by sex traffickers because my mother's daughters, Valani and Flora, feigned mental illness on my mother, and she was being treated for heart disease in Bellevue Hospital. Our daughters were born here in Brooklyn. Born in New York City, Brooklyn. My mother was born in Nigeria, so she had an accent. So the daughters was just demeaning my mother, and my mother said she suspected they were part of a life insurance fraud, that would try to kill people early to get life insurance payment. So they were just acting very fraudulently. And since I filed a lawsuit against the NYPD for taking me and my mother's home on Staten Island without a court order, and Eric Garner was trying to help me and my mother with that court papers. The receipt number for that court papers is 13CV5052. So the doors were monitoring the case online, and the police went and took Eric Garner dead. So the daughters, they were living in Pennsylvania at the time, so they were jealous. That was just me and my mother that would make money for the police taking our home on Staten Island in New York. So the daughters felt, I believe this one led them to, try to kill my mother. My mother said they wanted to take legal guardianship of my mother, even though my mother wasn't crazy. So they were just trying to, so that any money I will win from that lawsuit will go to, that goes to my mother from that lawsuit I filed, they'll be able to be in control of that money. So it was a money thing. And they ended up frightening my mother to death. My mother was saying, she went to live with the daughters in Pennsylvania. So one of the daughters, Flora, had an husband that would drive my mother at the back of the car and go hit the wall of somebody's house. And my mother would be frightened to death. And the Flora's husband is a U.S. military guy who tried to punch my mother, and my mother was calling 911, and the police wouldn't help her. My mother was saying, this is strange. The things the daughters would do. Say also the Bolani would leave stuff on the floor, snow fall on the floor, and said that Bolani never used to do that before. So it was leaving snow on the floor outside the house, and when my mother walked on the snow, she would fall. And also another person fell. They had to bring the ambulance. They were just doing things that would scare my mother to death, so that she would die early, and maybe they'll be able to lie and say the NYPD taking the home got her to have a heart attack early. They just wanted my mother to have a heart attack. So my mother said that the Bolani also was poisoning my mother's food with like car anti-fluid poison, and my mother would start having heart attack symptoms after eating the food from Bolani. So my mother fled to New York, and that Bolani followed her in pursuit and went and met her in Bellevue Hospital against my mother's wish. Which is against the HIPAA law. You're not supposed to follow somebody into the hospital, get their health information. They said, and stalk them, and that for Bolani and Flora broke federal law. So my mother never wanted anybody to come to that hospital. She didn't even tell me what hospital she was in, so I never went there. But that Bolani and Flora broke the law and stalked my mother into that hospital. My mother said they're part of a gang, so I guess that gang was able to retrieve the information of where my mother was. And my mother was hiding safely in the New York City Bellevue Hospital. She ran away from Pennsylvania, where the daughters lived. So they lived separately in their own houses. And the daughters came there, was taunting my mother, and my mother became angry, and they got her locked up in the psych ward. While were trying to transfer my mother, they said my mother died. She was so angry she didn't want to go to psych ward because she was getting treated at the ICU for heart disease. So, ever since she was killed, her name is Esther. I've been getting taunted as a foreigner also. So, even this mayor of New York City said his name is Esther. My mother's name is Esther. Say he wants all the homeless to be locked up. It's a black American, Eric Adams. And, some black Americans don't like Nigerians because they say Africans, so that's ancestor to slavery and it's payback time whenever they have power. So, so it's been raiding Africans in this area also. I'm near the first precinct here. So they will send their police to raid all these Africans, chase them all around, knock them to the ground, leave them bloody and stuff, and arrest them, take their confiscate their 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 bags, their handbags they normally sell, which is the claim is counterfeit. They said they've confiscated like $1 billion worth of merchandise from these Africans. But Black Americans illegalize drugs for them, and Black Americans can sell drugs legally, marijuana, get a license and stuff. Because they used to mass arrest Black Americans for marijuana sale and stuff. But cannabis they call it. And it seems it's ethnically targeting us Africans. Then he created a mailing address for those of us that don't have. You can't get our mail easily. I've been homeless on the street for since they killed my friend Eric Garner for like 10 years now. I've been homeless on the street. The NYPD took my home, killed my friend Eric Garner that was helping me with my court papers. You know, yeah, and so I've been homeless on the street, so it's hard for me to get mail. So this Eric I'm saying has a solution for anyone having trouble getting mail. It says the name of the company is Gold Locker. Gold Locker. And said he wants to, his name is also Esther. My mother's name is Esther. So I didn't even know what we have been taunting me with that mailing address because any mail that's sent to that mailing address, I don't get it. They don't inform me. They're supposed to inform me by email. So it's like they just want to drive me crazy. That's why the name of the company may have been called Gold Locker. I'm a transsexual. So yeah, I can't get any mail. So I filed for IRS tax refund because they owe me like $3,000. The stimulus check for 2020 and 2021, I never got it. So now the IRS, and normally everybody that got it told me it was so easy to get. They didn't even have to file no paperwork. I don't do that. But me, when I filed for it, the IRS told me, they didn't send it to me. So I was wondering what's going on. So I was calling their number, you know, for many months now. They wouldn't answer. So on December 31st, 2024, they finally answered and they told me they can't do nothing to help me because their computer is on vacation due to the end of the year break and they're revitalizing the computer. They asked me to call back in the new year. So I called back today and they kept me on hold for 1 hour. The guy that spoke with me made a statement which is very suspicious. He said I should hold on. He's going to jump back at me. Take notice of that phrase, jump back. And they've been having Black American kids punch me. People punch me, everywhere I go, jumping me. So use that word phrase, jump back at me. And they kept me on hold for like an hour. And they told me can't help me. I have to go to their service center and give them two forms of ID. So after they killed my mother in the psych ward, I was also arrested while I was suing the Bellevue Hospital. The NYPD was sending people to menace me, and one of them was rubbing his hand all over my body, especially my head, on July 23rd, 2019, in front of a police camera in Brooklyn. So I told the guy to stop. The NYPD came and arrested me, locked me up in the cycle, and stole all my ID. So it's very hard for me to get my ID now, to use an ID, because I used to have two green cards. The immigration sent me two green cards by mistake. So my mother kept one for me and I kept one for myself. So the one my mother kept for me, my mother's daughters, when they killed her in 2015, Bolani and Florida, when they killed my mother, they stole that green card. So the extra one I had on me, the police put me in psych for 2019 and stole that green card and all my properties I had on me that day. So now they've been taunting me, won't give me my refund, tell me, I have to go present two IDs to get my refund. Normally, I have a bank account. They're supposed to give me my refund, send it to send it to my bank account. So the IRS is playing games with me. And even as the IRS also announced last month, December 2024, that anybody that didn't get the refund, they're just going to mail it to them to the last address or their banking account number. And I already put my banking account, and it says it's just going to be automatically sent. You don't have to qualify for nothing. Just if they have your information and you never got no refund, they will just give it to you. Like, it's like $1,400. They actually owe me like $3,000 because the one for 2020, I didn't get it also. So by now they're making a big deal, so I have to go present two IDs at their service center. I'm like, I don't have two IDs. Can I speak with a supervisor? And they've been hanging up the phone on me. So they kept me on hold for like 1 hour, 20 minutes. So I'm in the cold right now. It's so cold. It's so cold. They said in Israel, Gaza, a lot of the Palestinian children are dying in the cold because Israel blew up their apartment building. So this is what they do to me in New York City also. There's a black dome. This one precinct goes there, comes attacks me there. Anytime I'm in there, they'll send all these white women to be taunting me. So it's so warm in this bathroom. Somebody must be enjoying the heat, and they'll call the police to chase me out of the bathroom. And they're taunting me, and leaving me to freeze. And the IRS also left me on hold for 1 hour. I've been freezing. I'm shaking right now. So this is torture by the U.S. government. they treat me like a Guantanamo prisoner. My mother also said, as soon as we sued the NYPD, they said, she was being tortured. Even every governor that was helping us, she said he was being tortured also. He told his family. So this has to be investigated for torture by the IRS withholding my cash assistance. Because, they never get that money, I'll go right to hotel room. So, they're delaying me. This is torture. Some black Americans, some don't file taxes. The celebrities say, the U.S. uses the money corruptly. And they have a moral obligation not to support the corruption, and they lock those people up in prison. Now, come to find out the IRS is not issuing my refund because they know anytime I get the refund, I go right to hotel room and keep warm. So they said Israel is also doing the same thing, leaving people in the cold and children are freezing to death in Gaza. So the world needs to tell America you have to arrest a torture agent to the IRS, whatever, what their boss that told them not to give me that money because they're making a big deal out of it and they give it to other people easy. So this is what is going. Even my mother had a heart attack on the job, the first heart attack, and died. And she rose up, after they used a defibrillator to shock her back to life. And she applied for workers' compensation. She never got it. And she was saying the same thing that everybody told her it's so easy to get workers' compensation if you suffer an injury on the job. So we Africans, my mother had a US passport, I have the green card. They make it hard for us to get anything and make us suffer, 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 suffer. Including this mayor. Even I went and got vaccinated. They were supposed to give me $100. They said they put it in the bank account. When I tried to activate it, they said that money is gone. I didn't do it fast enough. Eric Adam was the mayor. So they don't make sure I don't get nothing as an African. I don't get nothing. I'm freezing right now. So this is torture. Please, FIFA, the World Cup in New York in 2026 may not be safe. They're torturing us foreigners, especially if you're African. And also the Olympics in 2028, International Olympics Committee, may not be safe. We're freezing. They're using the police to harass us. Everybody's wearing gloves. So this is what is happening. So please help me whistle blow. Help me whistle blow. The torture agents in the IRS need to be arrested. They need to be